Subscribe to 𝐄𝐗𝐏𝐎𝐒𝐄𝐃. Press the bell icon and never miss another video update.
𝐄𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃 does not have a view of any political parties, individuals, or religious group. This show is just for comedy purposes only. It might contain scenes with strong languages, strong satirical humor, links to a relative you might know, and references some may find offensive. If that kind of thing will offend you, because close your browser now and get out of here. Get out of here, man! Shit, I'm saying! Because that's what we do! Comedians are absolutely insane. That means illegal.
Why you do like that? Sangoma don't send you message. Stop. That's in the entire fire, the entire man.
A fire or reflection? How is this one fire?
What reflecting there? If fire
the lights. What has fire got to do with light?
Okay,
don't explain because you will have explanation for rubbish. Hello guys, welcome to this episode. On this episode we want to take a look at Makandiwa's henchmen that go and do the dirty jobs of Makandiwa. Evidence, Charlie.
Prof X came out to expose everything, how everything is being done. We don't want to talk plenty.
You don't watch. It's long. The video is long. We don't want to watch.
Calm down. Take your time.
Now watch.
What you will understand the whole thing, how the plotting between 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃, blessing mashangwa, and then the Bentley they bought for 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃, everything. Yeah.
Greetings, people. I hope I find you all well. And before I proceed, I want to make an oath. I want to take an oath, and I want God to guide me. And I swear that everything that I'll say within this confession will be the truth. Nothing else but the truth. So help me, God. Let's get into it. So how did I know Emmanuel Makandiwa, and how did I know Evidence Chari? It all started when Evidence Chari took 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃's boys. I don't know if most of you have been following enough of these stories and scandals long enough for you to know the background of any of this information. But let me just run you through the background so that when I get to the end of it, you can have a clear picture of what really makes this entire exposure relevant and important. So 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃 had these sons of his, Victor and Paul, who left him at a particular time because apparently he had not paid them their dues. So when these sons left 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃, they went on a running because they had stolen some of his stuff. So with them being in the running, Evidence Chari saw an opportunity. He approached those boys. Not really, he's not the one who approached those boys. There's a particular individual that he works with called Marvin that brought the boys to Evidence Chari. And when they brought the boys to Evidence Chari, they came up with some sort of videos. They recorded videos. Remember, these boys were close to 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃. So they came up with videos. They recorded videos where these boys were giving testimonies about their experience with 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃. Within these videos, I was convinced and I was told everything that they said in those videos was defaming. Everything that they said was a lie, was nothing else but just a lie. But the reason why Evidence Chari took these boys is because he wanted to hit back on 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃. Because in the previous exposure of the Back to Christ 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃 was doing, he had exposed Evidence Chari of having killed a child, a Chinese boy, and he had exposed Evidence Chari of faking miracles. The videos are all over. You can check on my profile. You see the video where 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃 was exposing Evidence Chari of faking miracles. And he was also touching on Evidence Chari's father. So Evidence Chari taking these boys was a way of trying to use them to attack 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃 back. So when he took them, he offered them money to say, listen, if you do these videos, if you nail 𝐗𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒𝐃, I'll give you a certain amount of money. And the boys agreed. And when the boys agreed, they recorded the video. The videos have not yet surfaced. They have not yet been released for reasons which I don't know. Maybe Evidence at a later stage realized that this video have no value. So how do I know all this? I had a conversation with a guy that works direct with the Evidence Chari called Marvin. And within this conversation that I had with him, he only came to me and told me about the entire setup and how everything went through, because he was also disgruntled by the fact that he offered a service to Evidence Chari, and Evidence Chari didn't pay him. So this led to him confessing everything. And that's how I got to know about all this information. So I want you to listen to this telephonic conversation that I had with Evidence Chari. And within this telephonic conversation, you will hear that Evidence Chari got money from Makandiwa, and the money that he got from Makandiwa, he gave some of that money to pay the boys. And after he paid the boys, he ended up forgetting or not prioritizing paying this guy called Marvin Kandembiri, who happens to be the guy that was doing all the runarounds, who happens to be the guy that connected these boys with Evidence Chari. So that's where their dispute became. And within the dispute, the guy came to me and he confessed everything. So pay attention and listen to this voice note, this telephonic conversation that I had with Marvin, which is the full confession of the entire scandal between Evidence Chari and the boys. Then I'll take it from there. But why hasn't Chari released those videos yet though?
Right. Chari anaoda uzorelease some videos here because tapeza kuma record anditi bazontorera paneni panovalodzera ku Pretoria pavarojera flat in Pretoria anditi ka Chari baatanga kutondibuka baatondisiya kusaidi.
Aish. So the boys right. you
andibuka Chari anditi ka when the deal kwa Mushala came in and Mushala offered more money and more life to the boys and to myself. Because even
okay, I get it. It's making
saka wakaona pandikatora tsopana ndakazonowatura maoko macharichari asingatozive ndakatiza nevapfana kuenda nawo kuIsland kuningo Cape Town nini ndosoka kwakazonotanga kuCape Town pakazenge pautaurwa naJesu kwazona ndabudikira pano ndopandikazobudikira kai.
Aish, so when you took the boys, Chari did not know that you took them again from the Lord.
Yeah, he did not know that. Yes, kundavatora naenda nawo Cape Town.
But what was Chari's plan though with the boys? For how long? After paying them and then what?
Chari was planning to work with the guys to wise up my pastors again.
Oh, they all wanted to recruit them just the same way that they were done at Moshala's.
Yes, but Kungo Moshala is a better offer than offer ya Chari.
Okay.
Saka
Chari anga kuda kubukire imi muri mamaita bring the boys to the party.
Chari remember kuzoti Chari anozokunamdira Makandiwa anotaura kuti don't worry mdara, my boy is running this thing.
And you are the boy.
And I was the boy.
Yay.
So Urona how they this are not these guys they are just junk rubbish guys. So that people Chari I don't shandisa ngashazwa kana kuti ambisi takatamba tizo pa kudara but yari kuti zvodu vakabu andru na nyatombotaura kuti dana tongombuka ona rubbish mpeso because Maria akabhadhara paneo will later realize kuti Maria inobva kuna Chari akabva kuna Makandiwa direct.
And then he did not pay all the money, he took the rest. He just gave them a quarter maybe.
Yeah, he just gave them the quarter. 500,000. What is 500,000 Makandiwa?
So Chari has been making money of these syndicates, of these small projects.
Yes, he's been making money out of it. But another Makandiwa was getting zvikiitika mumashuri so mandikangoona chadaro ndakana kutora pana vandavairisa kunapotera pandainoona Mushala ndosakaona kuti mavhidhios ukaenda kumalive aMushala pana apa wakanga wariko unotoona ndichibudikireni ndiri mumotike ndiri mupendi make.
But Chin, the whole thing, Makandiwa was aware of what was going down on the ground.
Yes, Makandiwa was aware because he paid him. He gave him money to give to the boys.
But how much? Do you know how much it was? All of it from straight from Makandiwa.
I mean, ndisikuti akangapia mari. Ndisiuze kuti anangapia 2 million.
What the F?
Akangapia 2 million to silence the whole issue. But Chari akakura msoro.
Lubaka big. Baba Okomana's 2 cents.
Baba watu wakomana citizens ini bado ndi nyima mari because inini actually ndikakuza mari yandikajika pana charika ndofunga mari yandikajika ini yedu sikoka na 20,000 ndofunga.
You lie. Just
I'm telling you, ili yake isiri kuti ndakangodyka yange turi mari undaisa mafiu chichi because I had to make maranzika kuti Pretoria Joburg unoza distance yacho.
So if you listen carefully to the recording that I've just played for you, you realize that the guy is confessing, and this is the guy that does all the dirty work for Evidence Chari. Remember this thing, it has a hierarchy. Makandiwa uses Evidence Chari, and Evidence Chari uses Marvin. So this is Marvin confessing to me that he is 100% sure that the money for this project that was carried on by Evidence Chari, it came from Emmanuel Makandiwa. You can go back again and replay it so that you can get the glimpse of this whole scandal. Okay, from this story I heard about it, that's when I approached Evidence Chari. I approached him, and then I said, Evidence Chari, I hear that you have content that you want to publish about 𝐄𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐒. I don't believe the content that you have is relevant. How about I give you something that is tangible, something that can actually help you hit back on 𝐄𝐗𝐻𝐒? And Evidence Chari thought about it, and he badged, and he fell for it. And then a day after, he came back to me, and then he asked me, what do you have? And I told him I have explicit content that might help you fight back 𝐄𝐗𝐻𝐒, or that can help you silence 𝐄𝐗𝐻𝐒. Then he said, no, it's fine. Show me the content first. And then I showed him. And these are old videos of 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE. And when I showed him the content, he liked it. When he liked it, he offered me 50,000 rands. When he offered me 50,000 rands, I told him to go back home and think again. I don't play for the small leagues. I make 50K when I'm sleeping. So you can't offer me 50K for something that can redeem your reputation, for something that can redeem your father's reputation. So he went back again, and then he thought about it. Then when he thought about it, he asked me to tell him how much I want. I told him I want 300,000, which he gave me. Then after he gave me the 300,000, I started questioning myself, where is Evidence getting all this money? But then soon, I was still trying to add up the pieces and try to think, could Makandiwa be involved of all these things that Evidence is doing? Or this is just Evidence, running these projects on his own in the name of Emmanuel Makandiwa? Because in everything that I discussed with Evidence Chari, he would tell me that he has to talk with his father. So after this whole thing went through, he realized that we can work out something that is far much bigger. He came back to me again. And then he said, how can I talk to 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE? Then I said, it's very easy. Talk to him. Try to approach him and give him a side of your story. Then he said, let's work on another project. 2 projects rather. And in these 2 projects, he said, the first project must be blessing mashangwa. It's the priority project. And the second project must be Uebert Angel. So within the first project, here's the interesting part. He came with a narrative. Evidence Chari. He came and proposed a narrative that we have to sell to blessing mashangwa. And this narrative was about blessing mashangwa being Makandiwa's second wife. Before he even explained the project, he said, I have 700,000. So the man already caught our attention because 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE was involved in this already. He said he has 700,000. So we're all ears. Who can say no to 700,000? So this is how the project was structured. He said, listen, there's a conspiracy theory in UFIC about Emmanuel Makandiwa having a second wife. And there's another conspiracy theory of Emmanuel Makandiwa having girlfriends. So what I want us to do is to paint a narrative to Blessing Mashangwa that she is the second wife. That's all we had to do. 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE was in a relationship with Blessing Mashangwa, remember? And 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE was in the process of exposing Emmanuel Makandiwa at that time, remember? So 𝐄𝐻𝐻eE heard this. And then it was a very easy thing for him to go to Blessing Mashangwa and say, Blessing Mashangwa, I want us to go on live. And on live, I want you to say you are Makandiwa's second wife. Are you following me? Evidence Chari came and he said, I want us to push across a narrative. And the reason I want us to push across this narrative, listen, this is the interesting part. Evidence Chari was complaining that he has been serving Emmanuel Makandiwa for a very long time and he's not quite getting money or whatever. But I doubt, because I heard Emmanuel Makandiwa is the one funding Evidence Chari's lifestyle. Evidence Chari was saying he once went to preach at Emmanuel Makandiwa's church and he wasn't given anything. And I don't know if that is true. And when Evidence Chari came, he said, listen, my father has a lot of businesses, a lot of gold mines, a lot of diamond mines. You know, that's why he even gave me the story of Joel Williams. Remember, it's Evidence Chari that told me about Joel Williams. To say Joel Williams is the one that transport diamonds and gold for Emmanuel Makandiwa's business. So to him, he was saying, this is a way that we can make money out of this. He did not put it exactly like that, but he said, if we can push this narrative across and it sells, Makandiwa will pay millions for it to make this whole story go and to make this whole story go away. Because what he did, what we did not know that he did, is he went to Emmanuel Makandiwa and he convinced him that J. Israel and Blessing Mashangwa, they are planning to go live. And within this live, Blessing Mashangwa is going to be accusing you of being her boyfriend. Blessing Mashangwa is going to be accusing you of having her as a second wife. So I believe Makandiwa, when he heard this, it was something that was really going to strike him off balance in his ministry. So he said, okay, son, what can we do? What can we do to make sure that this does not go into the public? So the son then came with another solution to say, no, Papa, don't worry. I'm going to work with J. Israel and we are going to frame Blessing Mashangwa so that the story does not reach the surface of the internet, so that no one will believe the story. But the truth is, Blessing Mashangwa had never said that she is Makandiwa's second wife. Not a single day. We only started to know about Blessing Mashangwa being Makandiwa's second wife when Evidence Chari brought this conspiracy theory. And when he brought this conspiracy theory, he made it clear that there are only two people that know about this. And those two people are Blessing Mashangwa herself and Uebert Angel. And after the Blessing Mashangwa project, we were supposed to work on the Uebert Angel project. So what the next project was about calling Uebert Angel and record Uebert Angel. And Uebert Angel must confirm that Makandiwa indeed has a second wife and 5 girlfriends. Evidence said that these are the only two people that know about this entire scandal. So Joe was in a relationship with Blessing Mashangwa. It was very easy. He went to Blessing Mashangwa and said, Blessing Mashangwa, listen, we want to nail Makandiwa. Unfortunately for Blessing, she did not know the plot. Jay asked and told Blessing Mashangwa that, what do you have on Makandiwa? Let's say that you were Makandiwa's second wife so that we can shake UFIC. Blessing also had a vendetta, and her vendetta was about the money that she lost to Emmanuel Makandiwa. So she was in a position whereby she can accept anything. I want you to look at the video that Blessing Mashangwa and Jay were recorded with secret cameras. You can tell that that video, it was a matter of a narrative being portrayed that Evidence Chari had brought. Jay was merely leading the conversation. He was leading Blessing into saying what he was asked by Evidence Chari to say. Blessing was just talking about, yes, I was the second wife. He used to. That was a script that Jay had given to Blessing Mashangwa. so that they can use it on the live broadcast. And this script, this narrative, it was brought by Evidence Chari. And when Evidence Chari brought this narrative, he went back again to his father and threatened him that, listen, if we don't make this disappear, this is going to cause havoc in your ministry. Because people will actually believe that Blessing Mashangwa was your second wife. But Blessing Mashangwa had never admitted that she is a second wife to Emmanuel Makandiwa. So this is the first point I want to clear to everyone. Those that have been throwing stones at Blessing Mashangwa for saying or for plotting to fight against Emmanuel Makandiwa using the card of being Makandiwa's second wife. This was an idea that was brought by Evidence Chari to infiltrate J. Israel and Blessing Mashangwa and to cause them to talk about Blessing Mashangwa being a second wife so that he can convince his father to give him money. I don't know how much he was given by the father for this project, but to us he only paid, how much was it? 500,000 rands, of which he had promised us 700. Evidence was still owe us $200, Baba, and we still want it. So that was the narrative. Now let's get into the issue of the secret cameras. And then Evidence went and bought cameras because this thing had to be, he wanted a visual and audio for this whole project so that he can really sell his story to his father and get money. So he brought cameras, secret cameras, which he delivered to me personally. And then we took those cameras. I went and then I set them up in Blessing Mashangwa's, it was J. Israel's house by that time, in J. Israel's house. So Jay was aware of the cameras. Blessing Mashangwa was not. Jay had a script he got from Evidence Chari. That's the script that he was just running. And the reason why Evidence Chari was devoted to this part, whereby Blessing Mashangwa can say it herself that she was a second wife, was so that when he takes it, he goes with it to his father. And when the father hears that Blessing Mashangwa is actually saying she was my second wife, he'll be shocked. Like, dang, how can she say she was my second wife? But Makandiwa, it was your son that brought that idea up. It was your son that told us you have a lot of money. And it was your son that wanted his share of that money. You understand, Emmanuel? So we finished the recording. As you can say, Blessing is as ignorant as ever. She does not even know, no clue. She's oblivious of what's going on. She was just saying what Jay had told her to say. And she's unaware that she's being recorded. But then she's saying, yes, I was his second wife, I was what, because that's what Evidence wanted. Evidence said, if she does not say that she was Makandiwa's wife, I'm not going to pay. So Jay had to make sure that Blessings talk about her. Blessing confesses about being Makandiwa's second wife. And he had to push her to say it. And she eventually said it. And after she says it, Jay was told again, after she said, make sure you bring about the topic of saying, you know that we are plotting this, ne? You know that we are lying about this. And eventually, Blessing, she was aware. She actually said it at the end of the video that, but Jay, do you know that we are lying about this? This is not true. She said it. If you go back and watch that video, Blessing Mashangwa said it. So once that thing was all done, and then we took the video, the footage, we called Evidence Chari, we gave him. And when he listened to the video and when he was satisfied that the mission has been complete, he flew with the video to his father, to Emmanuel Makandiwa, and produced it and said, Papa, this is what I was telling you about. Listen, this woman has been saying that she has been dating you. This woman has been saying that she's in love with you. This woman has been saying that she was in a relationship with you. This woman has been saying that she is your second wife. So this is the broadcast that they want to do with J. Israel. But now we have set a trap for them. Now we have set a trap for her. Even if she goes on J. Israel's live tomorrow, we can now come back and expose it to be a liar. But this whole thing was a lie that Evidence created himself so that we can take money from Makandiwa. And after this, J. Israel was given the money. I was given my share. And they went on, J. Israel, on his live broadcast. And he was given a condition again that you have to make sure that she comes on a live broadcast so that we can bury her for good. And the reason why Evidence wanted to bury Blessing was so that he can impress Makandiwa. Was so that he can make Makandiwa look holy to the world. Because remember, Blessing Mashangwa and Makandiwa, they've always been in a fight. They've gone to court, they've taken each other to court. So Evidence used that opportunity, that blind spot, to create a conspiracy theory of Blessing being Makandiwa's second wife so that he can make money out of it. And I'm sure he did. Because he bought after this whole thing, he bought a Range Rover, a white Range Rover that he drives. He bought a Mercedes Benz, started going on shopping sprees. Haven't you seen Evidence chatting with celebrities, trying to endorse himself, to grow his brand and stuff like that? All that costs money, and that money is the money that came from the scandal that he created. So we were done with the one of Blessing Mashangwa. Evidence Chari came again and said, listen, the second person that we have to hit hard is Uebert Angel. And when Evidence Chari came to me about the Uebert Angel proposal, he said, my father, Emmanuel Makandiwa, said, if we can get Uebert Angel on record confirming that Makandiwa indeed has a second wife and has girlfriends, he'll give you anything you want in this life. He said, if you can get Uebert Angel on record confessing that Makandiwa has a second wife and Makandiwa has girlfriends, he'll give me anything. He said, you can name your prize. In actual context, he said, it's an open ticket project. Do you know what an open ticket project means? It means if I can indeed succeed in putting Uebert Angel on record saying that Makandiwa has 5 wives, 5 girlfriends and 2 wives, I can actually wake up tomorrow and say, Makandiwa won 10 million, and then he can give me. That's what Evidence came to me and said, that it's an open project. And my father has put a stamp on it. He said, if you can pull it, you can name a prize. They told me, Mr. Pull the trigger. I can pull any trigger. So the only thing that was left for us to do was to put Uebert Angel on record and confirm that indeed Emmanuel Makandiwa has 2 wives and 5 other girlfriends. I want you to think about this to the extent to which how far true and how far false can this be. If Chari, Evidence Chari, the closest person to Emmanuel Makandiwa, can come and tell us that there is a story, there are conspiracies, there are rumors that my father has a second wife and girlfriends. If I remember on one of the articles I posted concerning this guy called Donald Mando, which I got from Evidence Chari, he was indeed saying that Donald Mando is the guy that takes Emmanuel Makandiwa to his girlfriends. It was within the script that Evidence sent me. So most of you are inclined to defend Emmanuel Makandiwa. No, he cannot. No, why not? Listen, these are the 2 closest sources to Emmanuel Makandiwa. Chari is the favorite son, is the closest son. Some of you might think I'm using this as a blind spot to justify my points, but by virtue of him being that close to Emmanuel Makandiwa, definitely he knows things that you don't know, that I don't know. And Uebert Angel, by virtue of him being once the best friend of Emmanuel Makandiwa, once the closest person to Emmanuel Makandiwa, what are the chances of him telling us lies about Makandiwa having a second girlfriend or Makandiwa having 5 girlfriends? So we believed everything we were told by Chari. And all we had to do was to ask Uebert Angel. And here, if he can confirm the story, and Uebert Angel confirmed the story, that surely he does have 2 wives and 5 girlfriends. Is it hearsay? Personally, I don't know. Was it a plot? I really don't know. But as we dig deeper tomorrow, I will exploit everything and I'll put the very, very last on the coffin on this issue. On this issue concerning Blessing Mashangwa, and on this issue concerning Uebert Angel, and this issue of concerning Makandiwa having wives and extra girlfriends and stuff like that. So within this video, the biggest point that I wanted to establish is the fact that Chari has been overriding and exploiting his proximity to Makandiwa. And on that basis, he has used that as an opportunity to run conspiracy theories that are ever ending. So I'm giving you a warning, Emmanuel Makandiwa. This young man called Chari, you need to cut him off, not today, not tomorrow, but as soon as yesterday. I'm not glorifying you, because you, Makandiwa, I have so much that I'm going to say about you, so much that I have about you that will prove your connection to everything that I've just said. But the point I want to hit home is every information we worked with concerning Blessing Mashangwa being your second wife, concerning what else? Concerning the battle that you have with Uebert Angel, it was a narrative that was sold to us. And we just had to run through it because your son said everything is coming from you. So we cannot dismiss or disconnect Emmanuel Makandiwa from any of this, because evidence Chari said with his own mouth that the money comes from Emmanuel Makandiwa. The money is coming from Emmanuel Makandiwa. Where do you think Evidence Chari can have 5 million? I want you to look at Evidence Chari and analyze him and judge him and judge a book by its cover. Where do you think he can get 5 million rands? These are the things I want to leave you thinking about. Where can Evidence Chari get 5 million rands? Nowhere on earth. Except from Makandiwa. Makandiwa is filthy rich. We all know that. So the people that I want on this broadcast to probably apologize to is Blessing Mashangwa for getting involved in all this mess because of greediness of evidence. And I wish if 𝐄𝐗𝐏𝐻𝐿 can also take that honor to apologize to this woman. This was your woman. This was your someone that you probably wanted to marry, because one thing I know for real is you loved her. If you can have the guts, my brother, to apologize to her for what you did, for agreeing to work with the devil so that you can destroy her image, I'll be very pleased with you. I will be very, very pleased with you. As for evidence, you cannot expect any truth to come from him. There's no truth that can ever come from evidence. He's lost. His father is lost. So what do you expect from the likes of him? In the next broadcast, I will play you the audio recordings of Uebert Angel confirming, and I will play you the audio recordings that will justify who was fighting who and who was plotting against who. For now, let's say goodbye.
My brother,
Mayor, the only concern I'm having is about all this thing. All this thing wey I'm not concerned me. My only problem is Prof X.
why?
Ask me why.
So that you will not behave like
He will not go back. Prof X, please. We don't dey like you now.
me, I don't see. I don't like him. Please, Biko. It's done when you say we. Because when I warned you about 𝐄𝐗𝐿, you said no, you don't want to listen. I am only talking based on his expose. I have nothing personally to do with him. Because all these boys from Zimbabwe.
Before you know, I sent him he replied, say he will not. No problem.
All these Zim boys.
I'm suspecting these boys. They are stop talking.
Ooh.
A.S. David. Since that answer,
since that is
suicide issue, he had never made mention of Bushiri.
You can see that.
Money has changed hands. No problem. I don't want to talk much.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and laugh me. Follow me on Instagram and the comedy and follow us on social media. Don't forget to get question everything because normal is boring.
We don't come out.